you lost weight only to gain it right back after returning to your routine? Did your diet work for someone else but not you? Rockin' That ID Life helps you understand your genetic makeup to find a lifestyle that fits your needs. Together, you and RockinThatIDLife.com can focus on your health and meet your goals today. That's RockinThatIDLife.com.
Center Ice Brewery is a proud sponsor of Let's Go Blues Radio. Visit centericebrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or make a reservation in their awesome tap room. That's Center Ice Brewery, located in Midtown St. Louis. Let's go Blues! Welcome to Season 10, Episode 9 of Let's Go Blues Radio. We're the often imitated, never duplicated, fully vaccinated, not castrated, premeditated, the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast. Special thanks to RockinThatIDLife.com and CenterIceBrewery.com for proudly sponsoring the show. Please check them out. It's Wednesday, November 10th. We hope everyone is... I still have the Halloween stuff in here. Had a safe and fun, happy Halloween. I still hope that you had a happy and safe Halloween.
Yeah, we hope that it was so great that you're remembering it very well just 2 weeks later.
Well, I'm sure people still have candy. I still have a ton upstairs. We're broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook. This is franchise episode number 327 all the time, I believe. Is it 327? I think so. 326? Maybe it's 326. 327. 327 all time. To interact with the show, we're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Just do a search for us. You'll find us. I'm your host, Kurt Price, and my co-host this evening is Jeff Ponder. Bill Day is on assignment, tending to some family matters. So, yeah. Hello, Jeff.
That's how people wave, right?
Yes, if you're on stage wearing a, swimsuit or evening wear, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe I am under my jersey.
Your evening wear?
You don't know. That's the beauty.
I don't. I do not really want to know either.
You probably don't.
Will you be wearing any evening wear during the Ponder Cup, which is what, in a little over a week, right? Week and a half?
Yes, I'll be proud to tell you who I am wearing if you come to the Ponder Cup.
CCM?
Yes, mostly CCM. Yes, that is true. A little bit of Bauer in there, a little bit of Alkali. Actually, I don't know if you tried to do the Alkali stuff for inline.
No.
Do you know what Alkali is?
I have not owned anything Alkali.
So Alkali is actually the creators of Mission who left after Bauer bought them. So it's basically the same stuff as Mission, just made by the original creators. So
I have Mission skates.
Yeah, there you go. Alkali, I was never a big Mission fan, but I'm actually a big Alkali fan, as weird as that is. The skates are great. The pants are fantastic. And I've tried the gloves. I never actually played with them, and they're fantastic too. Probably good for ice hockey too. But anyway, so Ponder Cup coming up, man. It's 10 days, right? 10 days away now.
Yep. Next Saturday.
Week and a half. Yep. November 20th. It's a Saturday night, folks. We have no Blues game that night, so no excuse not to come out and enjoy some hockey.
Hey, yeah. Sorry, Jeff, but AJ in the YouTube chat says you're using the wrong graphic. My name's under you, and your name's under me.
Oh, well. How about that? Is that
there? You go. You didn't change. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, AJ.
Yep. Sorry about that, AJ. Wow, that would have been hilarious if we'd done the whole show that way.
See, Jeff's running the back end this week, so this is what you get. Although your audio just cut out too.
Did it?
You're much quieter. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's sad. Hopefully that I'm gonna try and fix it here. Well, anyway, so still good? Good. Yep. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's really funny. The Ponder Cup, we are picking teams actually Thursday next week, so 8 days away from tonight. So we'll see if Kurt Price ends up on Team Ponder. But either way, we've got me, we've got Kurt Price, we've got Austin Lynch, listener of the show, who's mentioned a lot. We like to call him our producer, although he's really not. And a lot of other listeners actually are participating as well. So, including Crappy Goalie, who helps me actually run the whole tournament. So, and it's all to benefit, in case you've not heard, our friend Scott Kincaid, a guy that I've played hockey with. And if you've played any roller hockey at all in St. Louis, I guarantee you know this guy. He's been around the game for as long as I can remember. And yeah, he's just a great dude, and he recently was diagnosed with leukemia. So all the proceeds are to benefit him, which we are. You know what's funny is, because usually we give the money to Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and BeTheMatch.org, which Blues fans are all pretty familiar with, because that's what almost saved my father's life. But when he was diagnosed, I started having people ask me before it was announced, "Hey, should we give some of that money to Kincaid and his family?" And I'm not trying to pump myself up here, but I'm like, it's not even a question, it's a guy we play hockey with. Why would we not? This is what this tournament's for, to help people in need. So, of course. So, yes, all the proceeds, 100%, are going to Scott Kincaid. So, if you know him, he's going through it right now, real tough battle. But we know he's going to come out on top, and I'm really looking forward to being able to get him some tape from that game. We might even be able to do some of it live, so he'll be able to watch from his hospital bed in Barnes Jewish. So, it'll be a fun night. Lots of raffle prizes. Go to dropinstl.com for all the information. But always a fun night. Come watch some bad hockey, drink some beer, even drinking beer, eating pizza, eating hot dogs. Anything you do, just showing up, that will provide money into the pocket of Scott Kincaid. So please come out if you can.
I'm looking forward to it. I haven't played in a couple years. After playing in the first few, a little bit, a couple times. I'm gonna go out a couple more times. Yeah, and the skating I think will be fine. I'm not worried about skating. It's the hands. I've said this before. The hands take longer to come back since I haven't played in a while. So
how about endurance? You've been able to run and kind of keep yourself up with that.
I told you I'm gonna be loafing and just coasting out there. So
there you go. That's all you need. Welcome to half of the teams.
right. I'll pick my spots. I'm gonna pace myself. The official beers of episode number 327. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. My handle is at cprice12. Jeff's is jpond94, and Bill's is Billy Blue Note 33. Jeff, we will not. I guess we're gonna. I guess if you weren't here, we would ruin the streak of you going first. So, but Bill's not here, so you're still going first. So we'll keep the streak intact.
Perfect. Yes. First of all, we got some. It looks like we got a new live listener over in the Facebook chat. Timothy Grant says "Parade Wave," which that is what that was.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Jeff, very low, now good. So yes, I guess there was some audio issues there, but
yes,
glad we got those figured out. So hello. Yes, let me give you the wave again. Hello, Mr. Grant. Thanks for joining us. So tonight I am drinking the Beauty Milkshake from our friends over at Center Ice Brewery. I always say the Beauty is the best IPA in St. Louis. What?
I was gonna say that's the first you've had on the show.
First
milkshake.
I think I had it on the show a couple weeks ago.
Did you? Okay. All right.
Yeah. The milkshake's good. I like it, but honestly, I prefer the original, the Beauty, which I did actually confirm that that is one of the ones that's going to be shipped across Missouri. So for those of you in Kansas City that were asking, I think it was last week. You will be able to buy the Beauty out there as soon as it starts getting distributed across the state. So that's exciting.
Ken Morris in the YouTube chat says he asked if it was inline or ice, and I said inline, and he said he's never played inline. He played ice hockey until he was 52. He hasn't skated in 15 years. He misses it. So I'm not sure where you're located, Ken, but you should come on by Queenie Park on Saturday.
Is he the one in Saskatchewan?
Oh, maybe he is.
He might be.
He might not be in the area.
Hey,
then.
Still come out. Why not?
Yeah.
And if we do tell you what, seriously, if I do get a live stream, I'll be able to post it on Twitter and Facebook. So I know you follow me, Ken. So if you really are interested in watching some bad hockey, you might be able to. Beauty of technology, a shitty men's league tournament, and you might be able to watch it it's in St. Louis from Canada. How about that?
My beer of the Big Shoe is the O'Fallon Naughty Pretzel beer. I don't know how popular this beer is or how many people like it, but I really, really like it. It's if you like soft pretzels, who doesn't, right? Soft pretzels and beer go good together, and it has got a soft pretzel taste to it, like a what's the word after the beer? You add the follow up, the aftertaste, the
Aftertaste?
is it aftertaste? The chase? I don't know what. Yeah, what's the?
Yeah,
It's not the
aftertaste.
official term.
I call it aftertaste. You act like aftertaste is only associated with IPAs. I associate aftertaste with everything.
I for some reason I have a negative connotation with aftertaste. If I'm like a beer aficionado magazine, right? If there's such a thing, or beer advocate,
I'm sure there is.
there's a term for notes. I guess notes of pretzels. That's what I'm looking for. I think notes.
Yeah.
Notes.
Ken Morris, by the way, says Halifax, Nova Scotia. I'm so sorry to offend you and say Saskatchewan. How dare I? Nobody likes those Saskatchewan dicks. But also, I'll add real quick, former friend of the show, I guess we could just call him a friend of the show, Art Lippo last night apparently saw me at my ice hockey game. It's funny because I saw him too. It was one of those things where I looked over, he had just come off the ice. There was a bunch of kids practicing and he was one of the coaches. And I looked over and I saw him and I was like, I think that's Art Lippo, but I don't know for sure. And so I didn't say anything. Well, then he messages me today and says, yeah, I saw you up there. I didn't want to bug you while you were talking to your teammates. And I was like, dude, it's never a fucking bother. It's not like I'm in the zone like, oh, I can only focus on the game before I'm not an NHL player, man. So yeah, same with any of you. I know I've had that happen before many times where people were like, hey, I saw you at, Madison Triplex and I didn't want to say anything because I thought it'd be weird. It's not. Come say hi. It's weird to not say anything.
Was he uppity, sarcastically talking to his players?
I'm sure he was. I didn't catch it.
Like his persona on Twitter.
I'm sure he was calling them all a bunch of what's the word he uses all the time? I'm drawing a blank, but yeah, I'm sure he was calling them all names like he does on social media.
Today in Blues history, courtesy of the @STL Blues History Twitter account, November 10th, 1998, Pierre Turgeon recorded a hat trick. Pavel Demitra had 2 goals and 3 assists in the St. Louis Blues 5-2 win versus the Chicago Blackhawks. Demitra with a 5-point game. And I guess I should have said Turgeon's name like Ken Wilson. Pierre Turgeon.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Pierre Turgeon. Last night in my ice hockey game, there was a guy wanting to switch to center, and I said, hey, if you're going to go from wing to center, you got to watch some Pierre Turgeon tape so you can get the faceoffs down. Loved that guy, man. I mean, somebody's is it Strickland? There's a couple of people who've said on social media constantly,
how is he not in the Hall of Fame?
How is he not in the Hall of Fame? I mean, dude had a great career, not just in St. Louis.
He should be.
Yeah.
We have one of the best centers of his era. So I mean,
yeah.
Over a long time too.
Kind of reminds me of and again, Bernie Federko's on his own plane, but in terms of Blues lore, kind of reminds me of Bernie Federko because Bernie was always overshadowed because it was the Gretzky, Lemieux, even Dion era. Yep. And same with Turgeon. He played in the Lindros, Sakic, Forsberg era, and it was just you're not going to get the credibility when you're playing in St. Louis against guys like that.
His numbers: 1,327 points. He had 515 goals, 1,294 games. He's over a point per game player for his entire career.
He was awesome.
I don't get it. And he's a plus 139. Yeah, he's a fantastic. I mean, he had two 40-goal seasons, a 58-goal season, bunch of 20s and 30s.
Remembered best as a Colorado Avalanche.
His last 2 years of his career. Started in Buffalo, then in New York, where was it Mark Hunter? the incident with
Yeah,
Mark Hunter?
Mark Hunter.
The
Yep.
playoffs. Pierre Turgeon scores an overtime goal, playoffs, and Mark Hunter checks him into the boards like 4 or 5 seconds after he scores, and messes up his shoulder, and he's gone for the playoffs. And that was a mess.
That was bad.
And you're low again, Jeff. No audio. November 10th, 2009, David Perron recorded his first career hat trick in the St. Louis Blues 6-1 win over the Vancouver Canucks. November 10th, 2002, Steve Durbano, two-time member of the St. Louis Blues, passed away from liver cancer. Today's date, 2002. Steve Durbano is a guy that I think, if he were alive today, would be a fantastic podcast guest on a show. I've heard so much stuff about him being insane and crazy on the ice. Just a goon's goon.
Yeah, that could be fun. I'll make a call to heaven. That's a bad joke. I'm sorry.
It is bad. November 10th, 1973, Wayne Stevenson recorded his second career shutout in the St. Louis Blues 5-0 win versus the Montreal Canadiens, extending their club record at the time of 5 straight road games without a loss. Bob Kelly and Glenn Sather scored the 2 goals each for the Blues. This was the first. St. Louis Blues became the first expansion team to win 200 games in this game, and then this is the first time Montreal had been shut out in 185 games, which is the second longest streak in NHL history. 185 games.
That's crazy.
That is over 2 seasons worth of games, no shutouts.
Yeah, that's like what, 2.5 seasons?
That's back 2 and a chunk, 2 and a handful.
That's crazy.
160, a fourth. Yeah, that was back in their heyday, though. I mean, 70s. Sheesh.
Yeah. Yep.
You just couldn't beat Montreal.
No.
November 10th, 1989. Brian Benning was traded by the St. Louis Blues. This is a good story. Traded by the St. Louis Blues to the LA Kings. Less than an hour later, he was signing autographs at a St. Louis Walgreens before anybody knew of the trade. So and there's an article clip here that STL Blues History shared, and part of this says Benning made no mention of the Los Angeles Kings during the autograph session and didn't let on that he was no longer a member of the St. Louis Blues. He didn't want to spoil a good time for the children and their parents who vied for his attention. I was like, that's cool. I mean,
what a good dude.
I mean, nowadays I can totally see where if someone's traded, the autograph session's canceled and he's whisked away to his new city.
Yep.
But I instantly like Benning a little more now, just because he was being a nice human.
Well, same thing with Yarrow Halak, and in the social media age, it was well after he was traded to the Blues. He still did an autograph session in Montreal before the season, and I remember just being like, "Damn, that's an awesome dude." And I was like, I was so excited to get him on the Blues because I'm like, what a great guy that is.
November 10th, 1991, 30 years ago today, Brett Hull was named NHL Player of the Week after scoring 8 goals the previous week. It was in 4 games, so he had 2 goals versus Philly, 2 versus Detroit, 3 versus Hartford, and 1 versus Detroit in those 4 games. I abbreviated the cities, and it had been a long time since I had seen Hartford abbreviated for like NHL. I'm like, is it HFD, HTD, what is it?
Yep.
So that's sad that Hartford is no longer. Every once in a while, bring back
Loved their color scheme. Big fan.
Yeah, bring back the whale.
Yep, I would love to see the whale. Oh, they got isn't it the Connecticut Whale in the PHF now, the women's team?
Is it? I did not know.
Yeah, I think they have the same color scheme, just different logo, different jersey style, but still pretty cool.
We got a few comments in the chat, and we'll also talk about the Blues and their win versus Winnipeg last night, Tuesday night, after this word from ID Life.
It's safe to say that the Burn Box from RockinThatIDLife.com provides you with the sugar-bustingest, muscle-buildingest, mood-enhancingest, focus-inducingest, energy-boostingest, hootinest, tootinest, shootinest experience. You not only get the excellent product, but you get recipes, menu options, a tracker, and program guide to assist you along your self-betterment journey. Based on your goals, you can double up on Slim Plus or Energy, or you can get one of each. With flavors such as mixed berry, tropical fruit, and orange, the Burn Box lets you enjoy the weight loss or muscle gain journey along the way. Become a VIP with RockinThatIDLife.com and place your Burn Box on subscription and you'll save 20%. And as always, text
the roughest, toughest He-Man, stuffest hombre has ever crossed the Rio Grande.
And our friend Dustin at 636-393-8745 and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you to receive an additional 10% off your order.
Now all of you skunks, clear out of here.
And go over to RockinThatIDLife.com. Well, everybody, we are back. Kurt, you can hear me, correct?
I can. Loud and clear.
Good. We can hear you too. Perfect. So yeah, we got a little graphic up on the screen here for those of you who are watching the YouTube video or the Facebook video. And I'll tell you on the podcast what it says. So from our friend Dustin over at RockinThatIDLife.com, this week, our DNA kit is 20% off. You still get one $100 coupon towards nutrition, and you get a free bag of Strawberry Slim or a bag of New Energy Pina Colada. So it's so again, the graphic on the screen here, $20 off ID Life DNA. It includes a free Pina Colada Energy bulk bag or a free Strawberry Watermelon Slim and jar. This is the Black Friday deal right now this week. Offer ends 11/14 at midnight PST. So that's actually 2 a.m. Central Daylight Time. But yeah, nice deal here. $20 off if anybody's interested. And we thank Dustin for giving us the info here so we can let you all know about it.
You a fan of the Pina Colada coconut flavored items there, Jeff? Drinks and stuff?
Actually, I don't think I've ever had any from Rockin' That ID Life yet.
I'm just talking
Have
in
you?
general, like a Pina Colada drink itself.
I'm a fan.
I like coconut.
What's the I think it's called like boat life or something. It's like it's something you can get like at the Target. It's like a smoothie. There's a Pina Colada flavor at the Target. Yeah, that's such an old man comment there. Yeah, it's like it's called like Boathouse, I think. They have a Pina Colada flavor, and it's phenomenal. So I would imagine I would love that flavor.
Yeah, I mean, if you like coconut, it's essentially what it is. Which is I do. I enjoy quite a bit, especially the toasted coconut on a donut. Some comments in YouTube chat before we get into the Blues talk. Ken Morris says Steve Durbano was a wild man. Had a few run-ins with the police, including a police woman.
Whoa!
I thought there would be more to that comment than something about the police woman. Like, oh, what was so special about the run-in with the police woman? Only player more notorious was Link Getz, aka the missing link. Yeah,
that guy was something.
And Matt Mlo 12 says 3 goals against the Detroit team in a week for Hull is impressive, even for Hull. Which, yeah, that was right when they were getting really good, Detroit. So, God, I hated that team.
Oh.
I hated that team so much.
Yeah, I did too. We are getting spammed in the Facebook chat, by the way, by my wife. I guess she's listening to music. She says, "Tell it to my heart. You're simply the best, better than all the rest. I'm stuck on your heart. I hang on every word you say. Oh, tear us apart. Baby, I would rather be dead."
Oh.
So
if you need
thank you for that.
If you need to take a 15-minute break to go.
No.
Take care of business. Oh, yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
How much do you need? 3 or 4 minutes?
No. Come on, man. You're giving me way too much credit here.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were, building up endurance for the tournament. You might have some. Anyway,
not that kind of endurance.
Going down a path. I just, if I go much farther, we're never getting back.
Yeah. Oh, and I gotta love you, baby. Oh, I love you too. Thank you for
Oh.
this. Might be the first time she's ever listened to the show, so this is interesting.
Anyway, on that note, we'll talk about the Blues 3-2 shootout win versus Winnipeg on Tuesday night last night. This was, a big early season matchup between Winnipeg and St. Louis, who figured to be battling for one of the higher spots in the division most of the season, and this game was that. The Blues entered the night in second place in the Central, 1 point out of Winnipeg, and 1 point behind Minnesota, who was sitting in first place. This game for the most part kind of was a lot like the game versus Anaheim, where the Blues scored first, and then Winnipeg kind of took it to the Blues later, and the Blues blew the lead later, and then had to try and come back, but they couldn't against Anaheim, and they did against Winnipeg. So that was a nice change of pace. But I think that comment was made on social media too, where, gosh, this looks like the Anaheim game. They're not playing well.
Yeah,
and they scored first though, but then they lost the lead.
yeah, and it's funny because you say that in the Anaheim game it was okay. There's no signs of life. They're just going to lose. But with the Winnipeg game, same playing style. You're seeing the same kind of stuff from the team, but you're saying, maybe Binnington will put something together here. Maybe the defense will step up in the third. And it's so weird just because of the score, how the game just felt so different for Blues fans.
Buchnevich ended up scoring first on the power play, good old power play, which has been a strength for the Blues this season, with about 2 minutes to go in the first. And I said this on Twitter, not a good goal by Hellebuyck to give up. 5-hole from the face-off dot at a bad angle. And this was on the power play, but after the Blues hadn't gotten jack squat done on, a minute and a half of this power play so far?
Literally, probably 10 seconds before this goal scored, I had turned to my wife and I said, oh my God, this power play is atrocious. Is this the 2019 playoff team here? I mean, it looked awful. So yeah, being able to get a goal out of that, we'll take it.
Yeah, and that to me can be like a rather deflating thing for Winnipeg. Could have been where the PK is playing great, not giving the Blues an inch or anything, and then all of a sudden he gives up a softie when the Blues enter the zone for probably the first time in the power play. And then the Jets scored midway through the second to tie it. Neil Pionk avoids Kyrou at the point, which I hated this play by Kyrou. I thought this was a soft, lazy, typical forward in the defensive zone play, right? I thought I love Kyrou, but come on, dude. Not a good defensive play. Pionk peels right off him and has all kinds of room at the point, lets a shot go that grazes off Scandella's junk.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
And by Binnington. So that it was a shame too because the puck was going wide.
Yes, it was, and I'll admit I'm a huge fan of the spinorama. So I did like the move from Pionk.
It was a good move,
but yeah, it was a lazy defensive play. It was him stepping up, which you want your forwards to do, but he stepped up a little too much, gave him a little too much room to skate across him, and I guess it caught him off guard, caught him by surprise. I don't know, but he gave him plenty of room once he pulled that spinorama to just skate right in and take a shot.
Well, he left him room to the wrong side. If you're gonna allow a guy to peel off you, let him peel off towards the boards. Yeah. Don't let him peel towards the middle of the ice. You don't want that puck there. You want the puck on the boards, if anything. And that was just he cut to him on the wrong side, I guess, and then he's puts it on net, and stuff happens, and it goes in. So, and this second period, the Jets really took it to the Blues, outshooting them 17-5. Luckily Winnipeg only got the one goal. Binnington was very, very, very good in this game.
Yeah.
And Winnipeg continued the onslaught of shots with 17 more in the third period. And Connor scored from in close about 6 minutes into the third.
Before we get into that goal, a couple of the saves that Binnington made. First of all, the first shot of the game, that one that was slid in front, I think it was Scheifele, ended up getting it, and then he ended up making a just kind of tip of the glove save and then caught it. That was beautiful. He made another save later where the puck, he was scrambling across the crease, and the puck came in, and I think it caught him in the glove, and then it bounced straight up in the air, and he was on the ground, and he reached up and grabbed it. I mean, he was on his game. And I know there were some people, and even one of the reporters, which I'm sure Kurt will mention later, that was asking
I wasn't
if
going
this,
to, but you're
if
going
this
to. All
was the best game that Binnington's had. No, it
Ever?
wasn't. No,
Ever?
not ever. No, this
that was
season.
asked. That was asked in the press conference. If was this his best, Bennington's best game ever? I'm like, what?
No,
I
not
mean,
even
he was
close.
really, really good. It was a great game.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'll even say in terms of regular season, no. First of all, 2019, some of those wins he had, but last year, who remembers that Vegas game when he made like 50 saves and the Blues won? That was ridiculous. I mean, so
also,
no, it wasn't, but a great fucking game from Binnington, really inserting himself as an elite goaltender. And I know we're going to get into this a little bit, but really putting himself as the favorite for the Canadian goalie in the Olympics. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind at this point that he's the lead.
I think, and just to kind of back up the point that to pump the brakes on the people that may have suggested that is this his best game ever, which makes no sense to me. But the second goal that Winnipeg scored, I mean, it was not even mentioned on the air, not that I heard about. I mean, he had a great game. He had a fantastic game, but I thought this goal he looked awful on. I thought he's trying to wait. Connor waits him out and ends up getting Binnington to basically fall on his face and then shoot it over him. And nobody ran into Binnington. Nobody bumped him. I think he wanted the Blues to kind of maybe review it for goal interference. But I'm looking at the replay. I'm like, okay, if someone did touch him, it didn't cause you to fall down, whatever. But he's trying to outweight Connor, and he falls forward, and and Connor has the entire net to shoot at. I'm like, what are you doing? And I thought at first when I saw it happen live, I'm thinking, okay, he got bumped and got knocked down. And the replay happens. I'm like, no, he just kind of was leaning forward, and he waited, and ended up going and on his face. And I'm like, God, that didn't look very good. So I mean, that's
I will slightly argue that fact and say, and I would love to get Bill's take on this. Actually,
let's have a debate. Go ahead.
That dickhead should be here to be the arbiter.
He's the goalie guy.
No, I'll say, and I will say that, Binnington did not look the best on this goal. Sorry, I'm saying this as I'm trying to pour a beer. But yeah, my issue is that Connor had all the time in the world on that play.
He did.
He had so much time. And I mean, it was one of those things where the minute it ended up on his stick, I said out loud, I'm like, there's a goal. Because Connor, first of all, is one of the best snipers in the league. And you see a play like this where a guy maybe just whips it at the net. And, Binnington will be in position, hopefully, and make a really nice save. But he waited him out because he knows that no one's going to touch me. I just have to hope that Binnington does fall on his face and and that way I've got the whole top of the net. At some point, you have to expect your defenseman to skate over, knock him on his ass, poke the puck away from him, make it difficult for him. And I feel like there was no Blues defenseman making that a difficult play for Connor, and it just left Binnington out to high and dry, and there's nothing he could have done on that play.
Well, Rosen was there, and instead of attacking Connor, he's standing upright at the top of the crease, with his arm out and his leg out, trying to block a shot that's not coming right away, and he looks bad. He looks bad on that play. And I'm pretty sure I know what Binnington was thinking. He's thinking, okay, Connor's going to grab this and try and whip it to the net. I'll kind of slide out a little bit and kind of play big, and then kind of lunge forward. And I think he was doing that, and Connor just held it. And Binnington was like, "Oh shoot!" and leaned forward, and then he fell on his face.
But I think 9 out of 10 times that's the right play for a goalie because your defenseman should be getting over to make the play.
9 out of 10. I'm going to say it's never a good play to be on your face.
Well, I agree with that, but I'm saying the making himself big and coming down and taking away the angle and hoping either he's going to shoot it into my face or my belly, or my defenseman's going to come over and make a good play. And neither of those things happened.
Right, but he didn't make himself big. He made himself very small in the end.
Well, at the end, yes, but I think he
Yeah.
thought he was going to shoot it before they. I think Binnington
sure.
thought there's no way he's going to have this much time, and he did.
Yeah, I mean, but
He
that's
shouldn't
the
have.
thing. No, he shouldn't have. He should. I mean, but he was in a soft area, and Rose and this goal is Rosen looks bad too on the replay. If you watch
Yes.
it, I mean, he looks bad. He's just standing there, like he was just standing there against Anaheim, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Anaheim where he just.
Yeah.
He just watched the shot go by him, and he allowed the deflection, an easy deflection for an NHLer, to go by Binnington. So
Yeah,
that was
agree.
bad. That was a terrible. Rosen's not. I mean, it's a shame that Rosen's up here when he really shouldn't be because of cap issues.
Yeah, I agree. But I do think Rosen's been okay. He hasn't been noticeably bad like Chris Butler was at the end of his career. But I say noticeably bad, but he was noticeably bad on this goal.
Friend of the show, Chris Butler.
He's not a friend of the show, is he?
He's not. I thought he was. Okay, never mind.
We never
enemy
had
of the
Chris
show.
Butler on. Enemy of
we
the
did.
Yeah, anyone
right.
who's never been on the show is an enemy of the show.
Right. If you don't want to be an enemy, come on the
Come
show.
on the show. Yeah, right. No, we've never had Chris Butler on.
Okay,
but no,
right.
we've
had so many.
So many names. Let's just
so many.
Hey, Kurt, give yourself one of these right here.
You got like 99% of it. Okay, yeah, but
but they come on because your insight is so good, not mine.
Well, obviously, but I'm saying that you got the contacts. So I mean, I've gotten a few, but that's
that's the only reason I'm here is because I talk to the right people.
I got the pretty ones. I got Angela on. I got
Erica.
Erica on. Yeah. So those are the two that I
and the artist. He's pretty too.
Walton. Yeah.
Stephen Walden.
Stephen Walden. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a pretty guy. But no,
he is very pretty.
Yes. But no, Rosen, I think he's been okay. I mean, as a 6th, 7th defenseman who really has no business being in the NHL with the depth the Blues have in the AHL, he's been okay. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I think it's like, okay, let's get Krug back. Let's get our cap situation figured out so we can get Perunovich up here and see what he has to bring.
He's on pace for. I mean, if you're looking bad for 1 goal a game and you're a defenseman, oof, that's not a good pace to be on.
I agree, but
granted, just it's 2 games, but still.
Yeah, small sample size.
Yes, very small. Kyrou did tie the game for the Blues with about 8 minutes to go on a great setup by Buchnevich. Little inside-out move on the defender on the left wing in the offensive zone, throws the puck in the slot to Kyrou, who puts it by Hellebuck. Buchnevich got a second point of the night on this play. Really could have been one of the 3 stars in this game. I mean, but he was not.
Yeah. Well, the 3 stars should have been Jordan Binnington, and Jordan Binnington.
True, very much so. The Blues, so the Blues were handily outshot second and third period. The Blues got some chances. They were opportunistic with their chance in the third. Got it to overtime in a game they really had no business going to overtime on. They didn't look good in this game. But oddly enough, the Blues flat out owned overtime.
Yeah,
they outshot the Jets 10-1.
Yep.
And owned. I can't remember the Jets having the puck for more than 20 seconds.
No, they came in and they had a break in because I think they won the opening faceoff. And they got one shot. They got their one shot on goal pretty quick, and then after that, it was all Blues. I was actually watching the Jets feed, and they even said that with about 30 seconds left in overtime. They're like, "Wow, the Jets have one shot, and it was in the first 10 seconds of overtime."
Yeah, the Blues they did not give the Jets the puck, and if the Jets did get a stick on the puck, the Blues knocked it away and got it right back. It was relentless, and the Blues took their time too. If they didn't see what was set up, if something wasn't comfortable in the offensive zone, they peel it back to center and reset, get a guy a change or two, and then come back in again.
Oh, I just love when, because you see times where, well, actually in this game, particularly Colton Parayko, There was a couple times in OT where he just got the puck and just kind of whipped it at the net because it was like, oh, he's looking for an offensive zone faceoff. But it's like, dude, in overtime, you don't have to do that. Just curl back and keep possession. And I think he did it twice.
And that's what was it Panger? No, Rivers. Rivers was on the color right in this game.
I didn't watch the Blues feed, but okay.
Okay.
So
yeah, I think Rivers said this. So they threw it on net, either him or Kelly, and said, and the Blues get that all important offensive zone face-off. I'm like, no, you want possession. Yeah, I'd rather have possession of the puck in overtime than a 50-50 draw.
Yeah, 3-on-3, you don't need a 50-50 draw. You just curl back and let your guys make a change and come back at them.
If you have a face-off in 3-on-3 overtime and you lose it, you might not get it back for 2 minutes.
Yeah, you might not get it back for the whole overtime.
I know. You don't know. Yeah, that's what happened to the Jets.
Yeah, so I loved the way they played this overtime. Like I said, with the exception of Parayko, but then Parayko also had that great chance towards the end overtime.
Yes.
That sweet curl-in move that we saw him make against Colorado. Was that 2 years ago? Yep. We saw him make that move again. When he did that, I'm like, this is it right here. This is it, and it just barely. But great overtime by the Blues. Really dominated.
No, fun, and it was a really nice change of pace. Okay, they are capable of playing good hockey in this game. It just takes 3-on-3, I guess, right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was I couldn't believe the overtime, the way it was going after the way the game went, because the game was awful. The Blues played a shitty game, just to be honest, for the most part. And it's a wonder it went to overtime, but all because of Binnington. But goaltending, like we talked about Binnington, very good in this game, very good in the shootout. It took extras in the shootout. O'Reilly scores, and the only goal on his signature move, basically. You see him do it all the time.
What a move that is!
Oh my God,
how stupid is that? I mean,
it's so fast.
I don't get how you can go to your backhand so quickly and then bar down it that close into the net. How can you fucking do that?
The forehand to backhand to roof under the bar, that was just like lightning fast. You blink, you miss it. And I'm like, okay, it's one thing to pull it back on your backhand real fast, but then to get it up and under the bar equally as fast. Holy shit!
Unbelievable.
I mean, that's why he practices that thing 100 times a practice.
I was actually, so let me ask you what your thoughts were. So after the first, okay, before I do that, I want to bitch for a second about Berube's selections. I've said this on Twitter for probably 2 or 3 years now. I hate Vladimir Tarasenko in the shootout. He is not a shootout guy. He does the same move, and it never works. It hasn't worked in 5 years.
His last 2 moves have been kind of they looked bad. The last
he's trying to go 5-hole, which is fine, but it's not there, and he forces it. And I don't like it. It's a bad move. It doesn't work anymore. Like I said, when he first came in the NHL, that was his shootout go-to, and he scored a lot of goals, but it's not working anymore. I don't know if it's because they have tape on him, they know that's what he's going to do, or if it's just it's his speed's not what it used to be. I don't know what it is, but either way, it's not working, and he keeps going back to it. So let's take him out of the shootout rotation, please. Like, you see what O'Reilly can do, and so that brings me to my point. After Tarasenko missed, and then Binnington makes the save on whoever the third shooter was. Who did you think was coming up? Did you think it was going to be O'Reilly?
It would better have been. Yeah.
Part of me was like, there's no game tape on the guy in the shootout. Let's see Jake Neighbors. Like, I was like,
he hadn't played but 6 minutes
in his final. Exactly. That's my point. He was fresh.
6 minutes total in the game.
Get him out there. He played like one shift in the third period too, I think.
One shift in the third, and he played 6 minutes total. Yeah.
Yeah. So
he could have been cold though. He didn't play.
Part of me was like, I would love to see it. Let's see what this kid's got. But
I'd be leery sending a guy out there who hadn't played much at all.
I agree, but it's to a certain extent. But I was like, it would be really cool to have this great story of Jake Neighbors scores this big goal, and then they got to make this decision of, okay, we might need to send him down.
Armstrong might have been pissed. It's like, you put that fucker out there and he scores, and I got to send him down. Thanks a lot.
Berube, you're fired. Where's Mike Schilt?
You know, if you're gonna put somebody out there that there's no book on, you rarely see Thomas. in the shootout. I mean, you could put him out there.
Yeah.
I think
That'd
he'd
be
be
interesting.
fantastic in the shootout.
But no,
I
I
don't
think O'Reilly should be your third shooter. I don't
Yeah, oh,
get
yeah.
why Tarasenko is ahead of O'Reilly in these shootouts.
Yeah, I agree.
O'Reilly's got much more moves one-on-one than Tarasenko has. Tarasenko, I'm not taking it away from him. Breakaways, penalty shots, yeah. But still, the guy's a sniper. He's going to score goals when he gets a chance. But in terms of a shootout, one-on-one, you can take your time. You can come in with speed. I much prefer Ryan O'Reilly.
I don't know why Tarasenko just doesn't snipe it. Just go bar down,
Skate in and shoot. Yeah.
I mean, like in the Sharks against the Sharks in the playoffs in 19 when he had that penalty shot, he just smoked. I just that's his shot. I mean,
find your spot and just fucking rip it.
Yeah. Goaltending was great in this game, which goes without saying, really. Blues win 3-2 in a game they really had no business winning.
How about the bounce back from Binnington after his last shootout? The last shootout, he looked awful. It was just, what is this guy doing? He had a great game against LA, but it was in the shootout. I mean, literally, he didn't touch the puck. The only one that didn't go in hit both posts from Kopitar. And so it was just, what is up with this guy? What happened?
Yeah.
And then he comes out in this shootout and looks phenomenal. So that's the kind of bounce back you want to see from your goaltender.
Derek in the YouTube chat says we had no business winning that game. Very true. He also says, though we made up for our shot deficit in the OT. True. We still got outshot handily. 34? We had 34, 5 shots, something like that. They had 41. It was much worse than that before overtime. Matt Melo says Benner had a good game though. He also said the Pyong shot Benner couldn't see at all, and like you said, deflect off the junk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he saw it either. Let's see. Derek says the Stanley Cup Game 7 is possibly his best game ever. Hard to argue that, especially the stage you're on. My God.
I think we even said at the time, oh my, sorry, just got a message from Bill.
Yeah.
Having some dog issues, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I said at the time, after that game, actually, Kurt, you might have said it. We're never going to see a game like that again from a Blues goaltender. I mean,
I can't. I mean,
the stage, Game 7 on the road. I mean, we're never going to see a performance like that again in our lifetimes.
In a game where he has to play that way because the Blues were getting outplayed.
Yeah,
he had to be there. If he wasn't, we lose Game 7 in a walk. I mean, if he's on his game for the first 2 periods, and then that big save in the third when we're up by 2, a lot of people will say that the big the save right in Blues history is Binnington's pad save. If he doesn't make that save, the Bruins, it's 2-1, and everybody that knows the Bruins that season, they'll tell you that the Bruins fed off of that energy, and if they had scored Game 7, and they said they were tying that game. They said if they had scored that goal to make it 2-1, there was not a doubt in their mind that they were going to win that game. So I mean, and that's the way that team was. So if that, there's a chance that could have happened. And
yeah,
so, I mean, unbelievable. The planets aligning like that for that kind of thing to happen again. I don't know. That was one of the greatest performances in playoff history for a goalie.
Oh, for sure.
My God, in a Game 7,
and a rookie.
Yeah, a rookie who
not even a full season rookie. He didn't play until January.
Yeah. Well, didn't play enough games to qualify for the Calder. If he did, but people said he was not going to win because of his lack of games played, which
is very possibly what happened.
Yeah, I think so. I think if he had played longer, maybe got another 10, 12 starts in, maybe he gets enough, which is weird. I mean, the dude won the cup. I mean, I know you don't factor that in with voting, but still, I mean,
he took the Blues from the basement to what would they come in as the 5th seed, 4th seed. I mean, that's insane.
Yep.
I always draw back to things that people don't remember from that season was that last day before the oh boy, I think it was before the Avalanche and Wild. I could be wrong on that. Played, maybe it was the Jets. The Blues actually won that game against Vancouver, and they were in first place, which is worst to first. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That should never have happened.
It's a we said everybody says this. You can't write that because if you do, it's like, oh come on, that's Disney fluff. That's unbelievable, just goofy whatever sports stories, but it fucking happened.
And that's why we said, or I don't know if all of us said, but I know a couple of us said on this show that he's only going to go downhill from here. There's no up. Which is fine. You can't replicate that your whole career. If you do, you're the greatest goalie of all time.
It's not just winning a cup. It's during the season, the numbers he put up were, spectacular. He had an unbelievable GA against Aberson. It was crazy.
Yep.
So if he hadn't won the cup, replicating his regular season numbers were, my God. And if he loses Game 7, who knows what happens? Because the next season he was pretty good. Wasn't amazing, was pretty good. And then the bubble crap happens, which totally fucked everything up for apparently this team. They're a better non-bubble team apparently. But
yep.
Matt Moe in the YouTube chat says Armstrong talked about Perunovich in the Athletics today. Said he's getting close, and if he keeps performing in the AHL, that they've got no choice. We'll talk about that in a little while. Ken says I miss Erica Weston on Bally Midwest. We all do.
We all do.
We all do. No offense against McLaughlin or whoever.
Honestly, it's actually kind of fun seeing McLaughlin back.
But Warman's
in
back
that
now.
role.
Games, right?
Oh, I haven't watched the last.
Well, he was back. I'm not sure if he's back full time. But
I actually enjoyed hearing McLaughlin because for me, like that was the intermission guy growing up for me. So it was like I don't think this is kind of cool.
I don't think a lot of people nowadays realize that he did a ton of Blues work. The ice level reporter for the Blues for years, and that's what he did for the Cardinals too. But he did for both, and then he got the full time gig with the Cardinals, and he no longer did the stuff with the Blues. So that, but I don't think people, if you're a new fan, you don't realize that. Well, who's this guy? Why is the Cardinal guy doing the Blues games? No, he's a huge Blues fan.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's if you can hear it if you listen to his calls in the Cardinal games, he always is mentioning the Blues and late in the season or I guess early in the season too for him. He'll say like Blues had a big win last night, and he'll start talking about the Blues game, and it's like that's awesome. I love the relationship that the broadcasters have with both the teams.
Derek says it's Binnington's way of telling Army he wants to start for Canada. He's making his case, right?
Yeah, he is.
Matt Harris says, do we think any other Blues besides Binnington have a shot at making one of the Olympic teams? I've been hearing speculation of Captain Dad being on Team Canada.
Do you think he means Captain ROR?
I don't know what Dad means, but I assume. That's the captain.
Yeah. I think O'Reilly very well. Shit. Put O'Reilly as your fourth line center on that Canadian team. Holy shit. That's what I would do.
He's a great defensive center too. So face-offs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got your defensive center right there. Every defensive zone face-off, every penalty kill. That's who you throw out there. Yeah. Colton Parayko, even though Craig Button might disagree, I think Colton Parayko is a guy who's getting a look. Tarasenko is going to be on Team Russia. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Who else do we got? Zach Sanford, Team USA. I'm sorry, he's not a Blue anymore. No, there's going to be.
Up and down the roster here. Let's see. So Russia, Barbashev.
Barbashev,
No.
yeah. I
You
think there's
think?
a possibility.
Russia?
Maybe again,
All
fourth
right.
line center. Maybe.
Maybe. Bozak, Canada, no. Bushnevich, Russia. I don't know.
Probably not, but we'll see.
Let's see who else. Kairu, Canada, no. Neil, O'Reilly. I think so. Perron, Canada. No, but you could probably make a case for him.
I think you can make a case. I think he's on that list of like if there's a second team Canada, David Perron's on that team.
Yeah. Saad, USA.
I think that's possible. He's having a good year too.
He is. Schenn, Canada.
I think Klim Kostin, even though he was born in Russia, I'm pretty sure he's got Czech Republic citizenship. So he might be on the Czech Republic team.
Oh.
So we'll see. Yeah, Braden Schenn, Oscar Sundqvist very well could be playing for Sweden.
Falk or Krug for USA? Maybe Falk.
Yeah, Falk will be there for sure. Krug, I think, too. Yeah.
Maybe.
And then,
I
of
don't
course,
think Krug. Well, maybe.
I think Husso stands a chance for Finland. I got to look at who else is. Wait, let me take a quick look here. Finnish NHL goalies. Rene retired. Let's see. The ones that are Antti Ranta, who might be dead.
We're going to talk about that later, too.
Yes, we will. UC Saros, Mikko Koskinen, Kevin Lankinen, Capo Kakinen. I mean, Veli Husso's right there with those guys, so I could see him making a push for Team Finland.
I don't know. I don't think he's got the experience, but we'll see.
We'll see.
There's a few guys. You could see a handful of guys playing for various countries. So I think Falk and Krug are interesting for USA. I would hope Falk would make it. You would think so. Great year last season. Having a good year this year.
Yeah, I think he'll be there for sure. Matt MLO 12 says Barbashev is the most underrated bottom six player in the league, and I'll agree with you.
He's very good.
He's right there.
He's
right there, man. He's great. He's one of those guys again. What I love the players that you can put in your bottom six. Tyler Bozak kind of fits in here too. Plays in your bottom six, but if you in a pinch need to move him up to even your top line, yeah, you're taking a step back from whoever you're taking out, but he could fill in there still and still be productive. So, and we've seen that with Barbashev. I love that.
Matt Below says the first glove save that Binnington made in the shootout was amazing. Yeah, fantastic. Glove save, amazing. Put the glove where the puck was had to go.
Yep.
That in his pad. Let's see. What else we got? Seth Jones is going to be on the Team USA. Yeah. Even though he's not having a good year.
No, but with the name, he'll be there.
Yeah. Right.
Yep. Brian Roberts also adds that Bowman is the Team USA GM. I don't know if you saw, but he is no longer the Team USA GM. He has stepped aside from that as well.
Let's see. Neighbors was sent down to juniors today. I think I said this a few games ago. I thought he's probably going to be sent down after the 9 games. He got less and less effective. I think as he got closer to the 9-game mark. He'll get more time in juniors. Only got 6 minutes versus Winnipeg. And he can play in the World Juniors Championship coming up. So
yep.
Looking forward to that tournament, which is a lot of fun.
Yep. Yeah, for those who don't know, Christmas break. For anybody who, Kurt, I know you get that week off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so much fun to just sit and watch juniors games all day. That's the best.
It's fun to because Canada, the U.S., they don't get that into it, but Canada, it's like it's a huge deal. In Canada,
Mhm.
And so it's fun. Where is it? Do you know where is it? Is it in Canada again?
I want to say it's in Finland.
Okay.
But let me look. I'll look.
But when it was in Canada, I think was that when I don't know, handful of years ago, it was in Canada, and just the crowds and watching this tournament, it was fantastic. It was like NHL playoffs. It was amazing.
Yep.
Good hockey. It was good hockey too.
Sorry, still looking. It's in Alberta. Yep.
Okay.
It's in Canada.
Yeah. So there you go. Looking forward to it.
Yep.
What's
Always
the date?
fun.
What's the date? It is over.
I believe I saw December 21st.
Okay.
That's when it starts. And with Jake Neighbors, I'll say, I think I said early on, probably in our season preview show, he's going to have to really, really step up and impress just because of this roster. Nothing against him, nothing against his, junior career. Just the way this roster is made up in a win now mentality, he is going to have to just scorched earth rule the NHL to stay with this team. And I'll admit, 5 games in, I was kind of like, he's kind of making that case. We'll see. The Blues might have a tough decision here, but like you said, I think over time, and for those of you saying that he fell out of, I saw some people saying he fell out of favor with Berube. That could not be further from the truth. Berube has been just singing his praises all season long. It's just a matter of, again, you got Sundqvist coming back here soon. We'll talk about what Armstrong said today. But he's going to be coming back. You've got guys coming off the COVID-19 protocol list. Just with the way this roster is made up, there's just unfortunately not room for a guy of his caliber yet. I think next season, you might see Armstrong make moves just to make room for a guy like Neighbors to come in. But right now, it's just not in the cards. Let him go to the juniors, dominate there, get top line playing minutes, and come back next season refreshed and even better than he was this year.
Well, Sundqvist is coming back too, and you got to make room for him. Next season, Bozak might not be here. It depends on how he plays. They might not bring him back for another year contract. I don't know. So there's a slot there. And who knows, what moves are made and who plays how. And looking too far in the future, a lot of things can happen between now and then. So he's just got to play well and wait for his chance to get back. Blues are 8-2-1, but how good have they been? I mean, the last 6 games have been a stark contrast to their first 5 games. The first 5 games, this is one of the best teams I've ever seen. As far as puck movement, puck possession,
overall
goals,
confidence, possession,
penalty kill, power play, everything. Goaltending was good. They were just so good, and they moved the puck with such confidence and such quickness. Was amazing. But I think since that 5th game and that second time we played Colorado was the difference, the changing point. They've taken a step back. Now they've had injuries and they've had COVID issues with players, a steady stream of players going to COVID. But with that said, they as a team, they've not been as good, noticeably not as good, and at times bad. So if we roll it back, last night's win versus Winnipeg, not a good effort. Got stellar goaltending from Binnington, got the win. Last Sunday's 4-1 loss versus Anaheim, not a good effort. Fell apart late in that game. The Thursday's 5-3 win versus San Jose, good, decent effort. Good game by Hofer, getting his first NHL win and his first NHL start. Got that win. Wednesday's 3-2 loss in LA.
Overtime loss.
Cruz. It took 9 seconds. A goal with 9 seconds to go by Crew to force overtime. Otherwise, we lose that game. The 1-0 win versus Chicago. They played really good the first period. Didn't play good after that. Held on to winning against a bad Chicago team. And then the 4-3 loss against Colorado, where they were outshot 42-18 and just manhandled. The score was Binnington kept that game close. So So looking at the last 6 games compared to the first 5 games, we've got some stats, and I shared these with you earlier, Jeff, to kind of get a comparison. And when I looked at it myself, because the eye test, you look at the team, you're like, this team does not look at all like they did the first 5 games.
Well, and we talked about how this team after 5 games, it was just because I think we had a show after the 5th win, and we were like, this team's rolling. There's no way they're going to be able to keep this up. But holy shit, they are scoring goals. They're stopping goals. Their shots have been great. Second periods have been ridiculous. Compared to blue seasons of the past, the last couple of years, second periods were always the problem. So it was like,
That's so weird how that works.
Wow, what is happening? And so it was such a big deal, but you knew there was going to be a steady drop off, right? At some point,
There had to be.
there was going to be, okay, they're not going to score 5 goals a game. They're not going to win all these faceoffs. They're not going to be so great in the second period all season. But it wasn't a steady drop off. I mean, listen, they're 3-2-1 in the last 6. That's fantastic, but
For how they played, it's
definitely a
fantastic.
huge change. Huge change.
Yeah, goals for the first 5 games of the season. This is the drop off. First 5 games of the season, they were first in the league in goals scored per game at 5. Goals against, they were 6, 2.2, really good. Shots per game, they were third, 34.8, really good. Shots against per game, they were 30th, 34. That's not very good, but still they were winning and getting good goaltending.
And
Power
goaltending
play
was phenomenal.
Right. Power play was fantastic, 37.5%, second in the league. Penalty kill, amazing, 93.8%, first in the league. Face-offs, really good, 5th overall, 53.2%. Second period scoring, you mentioned, number 1 in the league. Third period scoring, 3rd in the league. And giveaways, they were 5th best. Last 6 games, goals for dropped from 1st to 26th, from 5 to 2.33. So that's if you want to like 0 to 1 thing, it's goal production. But that's a result of a lot of other things too. Goals against per game, 10th, not a whole lot different, 2.5 compared to 2.2. Shots for per game has dropped to 20th. They were 3rd. Saves per game, shots against per game, 23rd, which is a little better than was the
It's
first
actually
5.
better. Yeah.
Yeah. Power play dropped off some, still good, 8th, 27.3%, but it was 2nd. And then penalty kills dropped off more, 85% compared to 93, and that's 13th now. So in face-offs, 20th, they were 5th. Second period scoring is now 24th over the last 6 games, which is a huge drop off. First, 24th. Third period scoring dropped from 3rd to 13th, and giveaways dropped from 5th to 22nd. They've had twice the number of giveaways they did over the first 5 games over the last 6. Granted, 1 more game played, but still, I think it's like 26 giveaways in the first 5 games, 52 in the last 6. So losing faceoffs, giving the puck away, fewer scoring chances, fewer goals. You're not playing as well,
and let's compare the stats to the play we've seen, right? Like that's so
yeah,
for
right.
me, the puck possession hasn't been there. The neutral zone breakouts have not been there. They are getting hemmed in their zone a lot more. I'd like to see zone time comparatively, which I should have looked up before the show, but I didn't. So, man, if Bill was here, Bill would yell at me because I know he would. But no, I just think overall the numbers don't lie here. And again, they're playing good enough to win with the goaltending they're getting. And even the defense, to a certain extent, has played well enough to get the Blues some wins. But the game that really bothered me was Anaheim, just because that's not a good team. And they've got a couple guys out with injury, and I think they've got some COVID issues too. I could be wrong on that. But that was a game the Blues just looked completely lost and outplayed. And now Winnipeg is a hell of a team. So if the Blues lose that game, 3-2, 4-2, whatever, yeah, I don't like it. But I'm like, okay, well, Winnipeg's great. Blues have some injury issues, some COVID issues. Sure. But the Anaheim game, that was an atrocious loss. And that kind of speaks to what we're saying here. There was just no great puck possession time in the offensive zone. The great shot chances that we saw in those first 5 games were not there on John Gibson at all, except for the first 13 seconds when Brandon Saad scored.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been there for me. And it's a long season. We can do this all season long and say, well, the first 5 games compared to the second
Right.
5 games compared to the third 5 game, you can do that all season long, and
Sure.
it's going to be different all the way throughout. But this drastic of a change in just 11 games is a little concerning, and it does make you kind of bat your eyelashes and say, let's hope they can pull it back together here.
I think, and COVID and injuries, play into it. Every team deals with this stuff too. The Blues have been hit harder than most with the COVID stuff, I think. So, and to some key guys as well. I think, and also, and this could be just ebbs and flows of the season. If the Blues' worst stretch of the season over 6 games is 3-2-1, well, yeah, we'll take it. But still, I think they're lucky to be 3-2-1 over the last 6 games. Nashville coming up, they've done a pretty good job keeping the puck out of the net last 7 games. They've allowed more than 2 goals only one time in the last 7 games, and that was against Edmonton. So I think with the Blues offense falling off over the past 6 games, this will be a nice test because Nashville's doing a pretty good job of keeping the puck out of the net. So it's a division game, and I'm sure they want to take it to St. Louis, who is ahead of them in the standings. So I'm really, and they played tonight. They're playing tonight. Is it over? It's over, I think.
I actually don't know.
I think it's, yes, it started at 7:30, right? Should be over with. Let me check the scores here. Scores, they win? They were winning 2-0. They won 4-2 against the Stars.
Nice.
And they're 7-5-1 now. So the standings read for the Central. Nashville is 2 points behind the Blues. They have played 2 more games though.
Yeah.
So when they play the Blues tomorrow, they could tie the Blues in points with 2 more games played. So that they'll be looking to do that. So I mean, I'm very curious to see how the Blues play tomorrow. And I guess every time we see a new team that we didn't see last season because of the change in divisions, we'll have to hear about, it's been so long since we've seen this team.
Yep.
Over a year since we've seen this team. It's happened twice already. I'm like, oh my God, guys, we do this every time.
Yeah. I mean, I've been talking on Twitter about that. I think it's 67 of the last 68 have been against teams that are in the West last year. It is, and I'll admit, like, I'm getting annoyed seeing these teams because it is just a weird quirk how the Blues opened the season against so many West teams that, it probably wasn't anything intentional. But for me, it was just, okay, if these teams were, like we've talked about a million times, the Blackhawks and the Predators and these teams that we actually consider rivals, if those were the teams that we were still seeing every night from last season, I don't think there's any complaints. But at this point, I'm just like, these guys aren't even in our division. Can we please start seeing other teams, please?
Matt Mallow did say Anaheim won 5 in a row, didn't they? Yes, they are on a current 5-game win streak. So we were part of that.
Yeah.
So they are playing better as of late. So I think I think the Blues are somewhere in between how they started and how they are now. I think I did not expect them to keep up the type of play they were playing in the first 5 games, because I think that was some of the best hockey I've seen a team play as far as puck possession and puck movement goes. But I think they're better than they played recently too. So
agree.
It could be hopefully it's ebbs and flows of the season, and they kind of ramp back up here. I think the goaltending has been really good, and being 3-2-1 and getting points, and it's a good record for not playing very well over 6 games. But good goaltending always hides deficiencies in a team. So if you win, but you don't really play great, you get outplayed a little bit, but you win because of your goaltending, the lack of stellar play isn't focused on as much. You don't get the questions from the press that you would if you had lost the game, and people online aren't talking about it as much. So I think, and people don't look for it. And I think the Blues are 3-2-1, and over the past 6 games, and I'm watching these games, and they're not playing good. I'm watching. I'm like, I hope other people see this, because if they get blown out against Nashville, I'm like, if we don't get great goaltending, we're losing these games, every one of them.
Oh yeah.
So I'm waiting for us to get wiped by a team we shouldn't get wiped by, and to see what happens, or if our goaltending kind of goes in a lull, what happens then? Holy shit!
Yeah, I'm looking at the last 6 games here, and I think Saturday they could still have pulled that game out just because Chicago was they're just an atrocious hockey team. I think they still could have won that one. But yeah, looking at the Colorado game, which they lost, they definitely would have lost if the goaltending wasn't there. The Kings, they would have not gotten a point in that game. Hofer was good enough to win. I'm going to say they still win that game, even with less than mediocre goaltending. But yeah, Anaheim, Winnipeg, both losses for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, so we'll talk a little bit more in depth about Binnington after this message from Center Ice Brewery. Center Ice Brewery is St. Louis's only hockey-themed brewhouse. Stop on in during the next game to experience the ultimate hockey fan brewery while sampling various hockey-inspired beers, such as Old Arena Lager, the Beauty IPA, the Rotating Pale Ale Series, or seasonal offerings such as their Imperial Stout, their Lime Sherbet Sour, and much more. While you're there enjoying any number of their fantastic beverages, you can admire the bar top and tables made of authentic arena wood and the actual penalty box door from the old barn. Located at 3126 Olive Street in Midtown St. Louis, it's one of the best places to watch a Blues game, or any game. Visit centericebrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or make a reservation in the tap room. Center Ice Brewery. Let's go Blues. Please drink responsibly.
So I kind of want to jump in here real quick with a comment from Ken Morris in the chat. It looks like you were shaking your head, Kurt. You agreeing that's the one I should read?
Yeah.
He says, which Blues jersey is Jeff wearing? Looks to be a custom one. Yes, it is, sir. And you can have one yourself. Let me kind of face the camera here. Actually, you can see it above my, right shoulder. My right. Why would that change? Because I'm on camera. Above my right shoulder, your left. Yeah, this is the Let's Go Blues Radio official jersey. We've got jersey patches, numbers, name and number on the back. All of us have one. We've got a lot of friends that bought them as well. I say friends, but people who listen to the show. And if you would like one, please reach out, let me know, and I can definitely get you one. I think they're, what are they, $45, Kurt? I'm drawing a blank. It's about a year ago.
Sounds about right. Yeah, it's been like
I think
a year.
it's 45. Yeah. So, but I'm always happy to make another. It's always better if we buy multiple at once because it will save a little money with shipping. So, yeah, if I need to make another big run on these jerseys, if you're someone who wants one, let me know, and we will definitely get you one. I'll have it shipped right to your house.
Cool. Let's see. Matt Harris in YouTube chat says Kyrou is a +6 right now. Holy jumping. And Matt Mlow says, I think Kyrou has the potential to be a 100-point player, point per game at the very least. That's lofty. We'll see. He, I mean, you never know, but he needs to be more consistent, obviously. But
he's
he
definitely
has the skill.
He's a 60-point guy at the very least to me.
He has a skill. He just got to.
I'll admit, mid last season, I think I was a little down on him, and I'm like, he might just be one of those streaky guys like a Schwartz who might get you 60 points, but more likely get you 40 to 50.
He's
but
more
looking at the
skill.
way that, he's got way more skill and
much better shot too.
He's been hitting the give me skill button way more than he was last season. So, yeah, I think he could easily be a 60 to 70 point guy.
And Matt Mlow says the depth is already being tested for pretty much every team in the league too. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I get it. But the Blues too. So it's, and to be honest, the teams the Blues have played didn't look like the Blues in the first 5 games of the season either. So, I think the Blues' competition to start the season wasn't amazing, so that may have helped a little bit. When they did play Colorado, they were shorthanded. The top two guys were out too, so it is what it is. So how good has Binnington been? 6-2-1 the season, third most wins in the league with 6. Of goalies with 9 or more games played, so essentially starters, because a lot of teams have played 11, 12 games. He is 6th in save percentage with 9.28. He's 10th in goals against average, 2.44. 4th in save percentage on unblocked low danger shots at 9.80. And 8th in save percentage on unblocked high danger shots, which is a 7.78 save percentage. 2nd in the NHL on puck freezes, which means he generally controls his rebounds, and that the stat for fewest rebounds in the league backs up the previous stat. He is 2nd.
Yeah,
per save. Fewest rebounds, 2nd fewest rebounds per save.
Man, it is so nice having those advanced stats now. And I say advanced, I mean it's literally just counting. Okay, that shot goes somewhere. Yeah, and it's nice to see because we didn't see that even 10, 15 years ago. So, yeah, I mean that's right there. Again, we talked about the Winnipeg game. They don't win that game. They don't go and get a point in LA without him. They don't go 2-0-1 without him against LA in the season series. I mean, there's so many things you could say about the way he's played. And again, Team Canada all over the place. That dude is just, I mean, there's no question in my mind. He's the best choice for Team Canada right now, not just because Doug Armstrong's watching him every night. And I hate to, I feel like I do this a lot, and I probably shouldn't, but because there's Blues fans that are going to get pissed at me, but I don't care. Kurt, I know you'll agree. The last starting goalie for the Blues, I believe his name rhymed with Ake Jalen. This is the kind of thing you wanted from him. You might get it 1 to 2 games a season where he would steal you a win. And even Brian Elliott to a certain extent. He might steal you a win 3 or 4 times a year. Jordan Binnington, when he is on his game, he's stealing wins more often than any other starting goalie the Blues have had in a long time. Again, we talked about him. Yes, maybe he did look terrible in that shootout against the Kings, but they're not getting to the shootout without Jordan Binnington. Any other goalie, they're losing that game in regulation. Last night, they're not getting to overtime against the Winnipeg Jets. And they not only got to overtime, but won the game because he was great in the shootout. Just unbelievable goaltending from him. And this is what the Blues have needed for so long. And we saw it in 2019 with the way he was able to stand on his head when you needed him. But we're still seeing it. I mean, he's not able to do what he did in 2019 because it's ridiculous to ask any goalie to ever do that ever again. But he's playing pretty fucking good hockey, and he's looking great out there. And the Blues have a chance to win every single night that he's between the pipes.
Stats aside with Jordan Binnington, if you just watch the games and if you know what to look for, right? If you're familiar with hockey as far as like, I don't want to sound condescending to people that might not follow it intently like like some of us do. But if you watch the games, if you know what to look for, you don't need the stats. You can just see that Binnington is having a very good season right now. The stats just are nice to have to back that up in a conversation and to say, okay, well, I think he's played really well. Let's see what the stats say, just to see if I'm missing something. And the stats back up exactly what I saw. Perfect. So then we can talk about this on the show. And I know people love to hear stats. It's a stat-based society. But some of these interesting stats that you don't hear much about, like puck freezes and rebound control and stuff like that, that's a big deal. Like, a lot of goals are scored in the NHL off rebounds. If you're controlling the rebound and not allowing many rebounds, that's a lot of those chances are one and done for teams. So if you don't get those second and third chances, you're allowing a lot of those goals. The 9.22, so his save percentage is what is it? 9.2. What is it? 9.28 right now?
9.28. Yep.
I think I said this at one point in the preseason. I want him to have over a 9.20, over 9.21, 9.22, something like that save percentage. I think if it's that or better, that's a great season for him, and he's over that now. So if he can maintain his a 9.28, 9.25 save percentage, that's great. That's going to finish. He's going to finish in the top 10 in goaltending this season if he has those numbers. And I think that's what this team needs. They don't need the best of the best. Top 10, top 8 goaltender. That's great. Someone in the YouTube chat asked earlier, where would you rank Binnington? I forgot who it was. We didn't get to it, but I would say he's a top 10 goalie. I said it before the season. I say it now. Top 8 maybe. I really think he's that guy even before the season started.
Rodney Hale was who asked it. Where
Okay.
would you rank Binnington based on how he's played this year? Top 10? Question mark. Yeah, top 10. I think we both agree on that.
Easy top 10,
I mean, this season, I put him top 3.
Top 5. I
this
think so,
season alone, Sergei Bobrovsky has been ridiculous. James Reimer has actually had a very good opening season. Yeah, Frederik Andersen was the other one.
Yeah. So.
But I think for me it goes it's those three. It's Binnington, Bobrovsky, and Andersen. And right now that's going to change in the next 3 games, but right now, I mean, those are the 3 best goalies in the NHL.
Matt Malone YouTube chat just said, I think Benner is worth the 6 years, $6 million. I mean, he's definitely deserving of it, and the pipeline is looking pretty damn good. So we'll talk about in the next little bit here. We'll talk about Binnington's contract and what some folks thought of it, which I think Jeff shared earlier today. If you didn't see it on Twitter, go check out that conversation. It's interesting. But hey, I mean, you want to do that now, Jeff? I mean, you started this today. You want to?
Yeah, sure. So we talked about this in the season closing show, or whatever you want to call that, after the Blues lost to the Avalanche last season.
Yes.
There was an article posted on NESN's website, which if you're unaware, that's the Northeast Sports Network. That's who broadcasts the Boston Bruins games. So imagine the bias there. Logan Mullen, who is a nobody that I've never heard of, he writes for NESN, and he has a Bruins podcast, which, by the way, our friend Mark Allred, I believe, gets more listens than that.
I think he has the least
Bruins podcast. So
I think he has the least amount of followers from any verified account I've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll add, Mark, if you're listening, Mark. Oh God, what is the name of Mark's podcast? Come on, Kurt, you got to help me out here.
Mark. Mark Aldred.
What?
Mark Aldred.
Look it up. Yeah, Mark Allred's his name. Mark is great.
Aldred,
has a great Bruins podcast, and God damn it, I'm drawing a blank on it right now.
All red or all dread?
I think it's all red, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Look it up. You'll find it. Anyway, anyway, so what?
Black and gold.
Black and gold. Yeah. So if you're ever interested in any Bruins insight, we strongly recommend
listen to that one.
Mark's podcast. It's a great one.
Listen to that one.
But this NESN Bruins podcast, don't listen to it. He said after the Blues signed Binnington to a 6-year, $36 million contract. And again, we talked about this after the Blues season. So he wrote this. And again, anyone who watched the Blues and Avalanche series last year knows that Binnington was the most deserving player on the ice for the Blues to get any kind of award for that 4-game sweep, because he was phenomenal.
He was
phenomenal.
Really, really
He says Binnington, after surprisingly leading the Blues to the Cup in 2019, has been just miserable in the playoffs lately. The 27-year-old has not won a playoff game since Game 7 of the 2019 Cup final, which, side note, was against the Bruins. So keep that in mind as you hear the rest of this. He's gone 0-9 with a woeful .875 save percentage. He was in net for all 4 games against the Avalanche, allowing 14 goals across 4 games with a .899 save percentage. And unfortunately for the Blues, they just signed Binnington to a 6-year, $36 million extension that won't kick in until next season.
Let me say,
bias much?
Yeah, real quick. As good as he was against Colorado, fair is fair, he was not good in the playoffs the previous season against Vancouver.
Ignore the women behind me, by the way.
Oh, more than one.
We want to
What do you got going on there?
I've got two women here. Yeah, this is how I roll, Kurt.
Okay, right during the middle of your bitch session.
Yeah, they're hearing me bitch about Binnington right now, which one of them will definitely agree with me. But no, it's complete crap. It's that this guy, they lost to the Blues in 2019, so he's going to write some schmear piece against Jordan Binnington, who was the star of Game 7, as we talked about earlier. And the fact that they sit here and they think that, God, these women, man. But
for those in the podcast, all you see is Jeff with women's hands all over him.
Yeah, that is actually true. He's not lying, folks. But no, anyway, this is live. I'm live right now, and you're interrupting me.
A real person?
Yes. You can see right there.
That's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh my goodness. Is that my grandma talking to me right now?
It's your sister-in-law.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyway, it's completely ridiculous for anybody. And we talked about this, Kurt, that you can hate Binnington. It's okay. This guy is a guy who he's
controversial.
What's the word I'm looking for? He's a lightning rod, right?
Lightning rod, an antagonist. He's an antagonist. He's that's how he is. It's fine. I mean, you don't like, we talked about this. If you don't like him, I hate him. I don't care. I get it. I totally do. That's fine.
Yeah. But admit talent. For you to sit here and say that this guy is just not a talented goalie, and that this is where the Twitter conversation went. I shared this earlier and kind of brought this up again. The guy basically said, watch other games other than Blues games to me, which was hilarious because I instantly was able to, all I did was type in Jordan Binnington Team Canada, and 50 articles popped up why Jordan Binnington is the choice for Team Canada in net with Carey Price out. And all I did was I said, hey, Sportsnet, apparently they only watch Blues games too, because they're the ones saying that Jordan Binnington should be the Blues or the Team Canada goalie. And then he listed off Darcy Kemper, which we talked about him on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Who were the
undeservedly on this pedestal for some reason.
Yeah, somehow he gets thrown on this pedestal.
Yeah, whatever. I mean,
the goalie Blackwood, Mackenzie Blackwood, which maybe. And then there was a third one, which I'm drawing a blank on. Marc-Andre Fleury, which I'm like, okay, name recognition, sure, but his game this season has not backed that up.
No. And what are you going by? This season, career, last few seasons. What's your reason for wanting a person on the team this season? But Jeff, he has not won his last 9 playoff games and is a woeful .875 save percentage.
He won the one that mattered, Bruins fan. That's the way I see it. It's just sour grapes to me as I read that. And we talked about this. We talked about this last year, and we bitched.
Remember the day after the Blues won the Cup, Boston Sports Radio, the meltdown, the wine fest. I just love it. I'm like, give it to me. Yeah. I want to see you guys just whine and bitch and cry on air. It was awesome. They were, can you believe Binnington's won a cup? I can't believe Binnington won a cup. I can't believe this. I can't believe that. Oh, it was a trip in Game 5. We'd have won that game if the trip had happened. Oh my God, I can't. I loved it so much. It was so great to hear the whine.
My favorite was fucking idiot Barstool Dave Portnoy coming out after Game 5 and saying, Blues fans, you should not be celebrating this win.
Whatever.
You should be against it after that missed call. And I'm like, really? Would you do the exact same thing? Would you? If the tables were reversed. Oh, yeah, so Tyler Bozak was tripped by Noel Achari, and David Pastrnak came in and scored. You're telling me you would have been like, no, let's replay Game 5. That's not fair.
What about when Marchand skated by Binnington and tripped him? Where's granted, a goal wasn't scored right then, but still, missed trip, blatant. That was on that was more on purpose than Bozak's was.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on. I mean, just because he didn't get up and he whined to the official about getting knocked down, didn't get back into the play, and they scored. I was the first to tell the Bruins fan sitting next to me in the bar, I feel bad for you. That was a trip, and it was missed. But I feel bad for you, but I personally love it myself, so I'll take it. I don't care.
Go ahead, everybody, take a look there. What a trip!
What a trip!
Always, it will forever be memorialized on my wall. At Bob Rakowski, I'm giving you comment of the show because you helped me out there. When I was saying lightning rod earlier, I was looking for polarizing. Jordan Binnington is a polarizing figure. That is exactly correct.
Yes. I think my antagonist was a warranted maybe runner-up comment to the show.
So you, a host of Let's Go Blues Radio, want comment of the show, which, by the way, means nothing.
No, it does not mean a damn thing. Obviously, because you just give them willy-nilly.
Sure, Kurt. Tell you what, you get comment of the show. Sorry, Bob.
This is the kind of stuff that you see from people who only look at box scores. Mm-hmm. He's a box score commentator. He watches the Bruins play. He doesn't watch jack shit from anybody else. He's a Bruins guy. He doesn't watch other games intently or enough to be able to accurately analyze anybody. His asinine quote about Binnington proves that. So I mean, if you aren't up to speed on a player and haven't actually seen him play a lot, don't run your mouth and act like you know what you're talking about as far as analysis goes and trying to make a hot take. I mean,
yep.
It's comical to me to see this because I mean, don't tell me how my goalie is playing. I'm not looking at him through rose-colored glasses. I don't do that. We've bitched and complained about a lot of players on the Blues over the years, coaches, GMs, whatever. If we don't like it, we bitch about it. I don't think we're an overly biased show by any means. I think if we see shit, we call it a shit. And Binnington has been good. I mean, we've called out goalies, we've called out everybody.
And maybe you sit here and you question, if you're listening to the show, well, this guy clearly, and we're not knocking him for not watching Blues games. I mean, there's 32 teams in the league. Clearly they're Bruins central. So I don't blame him for not watching Blues games, but to make these comments, that's right. That's where I draw some complaints because it's like, okay, you didn't have to word it that way. Binnington, after surprisingly leading the Blues to the Cup in 2019, you don't have to say surprisingly. Take surprisingly out. And then when he says, and unfortunately for the Blues, they just signed Binnington, how about just say, for the Blues, they signed Binnington? Yeah, I mean, it's just the way that he worded it made it seem like Binnington is some piece of crap goaltender that has no reason to be in the NHL.
You heard those Boston guys the day after just ripping on Binnington like he didn't deserve any of this. Fuck you. He deserved it more than most anybody else on the ice. He had an argument for series MVP.
Yep. Yeah, and let's just say if anyone who was deserving on Boston, your first power play unit. That's it. And only when they're on the power play, not even when they're in 5-on-5.
And they didn't even right. I know, right?
Well, and I don't know, it's just things like he said, these things he said, like talk about how bad he was, how he's gone 0-9, and it's just all you had to say was literally, I mean, you could literally reword this to just say, yeah, Binnington's been he's 0-9 with a dreadful .875 save percentage, blah blah blah. He's not, putting up the numbers he did in 2019. Talk about the numbers. Don't make it sound like you actually know the type of play that he's had. Because clearly he doesn't know. If you knew, you wouldn't be saying these things.
Well, if he knew, he would understand that Binnington was the best player for the Blues last playoff. And without him, the Blues lose in 3.
Without him, they don't go to the playoffs.
Yeah,
right. They don't even make the playoffs last year.
Right. I mean, it's you expect that from like social media trolls and shit. But when you see like a verified account, which I get doesn't mean a whole lot, but a verified account who is writes for NESN and has a Bruins podcast, I expect a little better. But yeah, he's kind of a joke. And his response in the Twitter today didn't even really. It's like he wanted to avoid it completely. He didn't really want to talk about that much.
No, because he knew he was wrong.
Yeah.
Which again, like I told you, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with you if he just would have been like, yeah, you know what, man, he's played great this season. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. Okay, I can respect that response. But to still come back firing and saying, "Oh, you should watch other games other than the Blues." Trust me, pal, I do. I probably watch more than most people you probably know.
He did say in response to me in your Twitter, I don't know if you saw that, he said he has a long list of goalies that he'd rather have than Binnington. And I assume he meant for Team Canada because that was the topic.
That was the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. So he has a long list of goalies, a long list. And I was like, I'd love to see this long list. Let's see it.
Let's see what Martin Jones. I don't know. Frederick Anderson he might actually not even be Canadian. I don't know. Jack Campbell. Yeah, all of those. No, thank you. Give me
Frederick
Jordan
Anderson
Binnington.
is Denmark. He is European.
Oh, that's right. I knew that. I should tell by the way he spells his name. Jacob Markstrom. I'm just naming names here because Jordan Binnington's better than all these guys. So
yeah,
I don't get it.
I mean, well, it's just it's ignorance and hate. I mean, he should come on the show, defend himself.
Yeah, come on, JB50. Let's hear from you. No, I know you're talking about the other guy, but
yeah.
No, actually, we would love to have you on. What's his name? Logan Mullen. Logan Mullen, for whatever reason you hear this, we would be more than happy to have you on and have a civil conversation. We won't call you names. We won't, it'll be a very civil conversation. We would love to have it with you.
There's nothing more. I enjoy few things more than really good civil hockey back and forth. I love it. Love it. So. And
I was looking to have that with him. Once he responded, but he never responded back to me. So,
well, I asked him one question, and he's like, "I'm gonna have to agree to disagree with you." And I'm like, "This is the first text I sent you." Like,
yeah, right?
You're abandoning your stance. Okay, I agree to disagree. You can't even defend it one time. Like, come on.
Yeah.
All right. Nope. All right. Okay. That tells me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And moving on. Schenn and Sundqvist both day to day. Was reported today that both Braden Schenn and Oscar Sundqvist are day-to-day. Great news, especially for Schenn, because just a few days ago, it was thought that he might have a serious injury that keep him out for a while.
Yep. Yeah, that was scary.
Yes, because they were saying he might be gone a couple months or whatever. It's like, oh God. So, and they haven't said what it was. I assume shoulder.
Yeah, it looked upper body-ish, shoulder, elbow, maybe. By the way, Bob Rakowski, I want to read this comment here. He says, "Is it just me, or does it seem like when Schenn is on the bench, the team seems to work harder?" And I think it's just, Schenn has this aura around him of being such a hard worker, a guy that doesn't give up. He's the one guy, and I said this, go back to our shows from 2019 or even 2020. He's the one guy that seems like even if the Blues are down 5-1, he's still out there hitting, battling, trying to get loose pucks. He never gives up, and that's what I love about him. So, getting him back in the lineup would be huge.
Sundqvist has been skating, doing battle drills, and so he's also day-to-day. Armstrong said that adding Sundqvist to the roster won't be an issue with the cap. Guys will be sent to the AHL to clear room. I assume that means Costin or Joshua, although Joshua was already sent down. But he played. Didn't he play?
Joshua was called back up.
Yeah, I was going to say he's called back up. So he was sent down, then called back up. So you got Costin, you got Joshua. But you know what, man? Clifford's played 2 games. I'm done with Clifford. I don't think this team needs him. I don't think I certainly don't want him to stay on the team um, and lose somebody else. I'd rather Clifford be waived or whatever and allow Costin to stay up with the team to play, I don't know, split time with Joshua or whoever. I'm done with Clifford. He's not playing. Why have him here? He's not playing.
You might be done with Clifford, but COVID isn't.
Hmm.
Just a joke on him having COVID. Unfortunately, that's not funny. We shouldn't talk about people having COVID and making it funny, even though last year I had COVID and probably made jokes on this show. Which actually I think I did. But yeah, no, I'm with you, man.
I just don't think he's a viable asset.
I think we talked about this
to take up a spot on the 23.
We talked about this going into the season that, yes, you want Logan Brown, you want to see what he can do in the AHL, but if it came down to let's open the season with Kyle Clifford or Logan Brown on your bottom six, give me Logan Brown every day. Last season, I loved the signing of Clifford. As weird as it sounds, I hated him with the Kings. But yeah, last season, I feel like that was something the Blues needed. This year, I think there's no need for him, especially with a guy like James Neal coming in and filling in a good bottom six role for the Blues. I just don't think you need a Kyle Clifford.
Yeah, I'd rather have. So, would you rather have, if it came down to Neal or Costin on this roster?
I'd rather have Costin.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I honestly do love the way Neal's played, but I question over an 82 game season if he could keep that up.
Yeah, I think he looks a step or two slow. I'm not uncomfortable with him out there, but I don't expect anything from him out there. He's just not. I don't know. I'd rather have more talent out there. More talent, more speed. Overexperienced.
I think on the power play, in a late game situation, not to compare him to a Mike Hoffman, but similar to a Mike Hoffman in sense of, you can expect him to get a good shot on goal if you need it. When the other team's hemmed in their zone by the Blues, he's a good option out there on the wing. But yeah, give me Costin every day just to see the type of game he brings. I love him in front of the net. I love him coming off the wing. I think he really he has a great first step when he comes off the boards to beat somebody, beat a defender. And I want to see more of that. I want to see what else he can bring. Did you get scared last game when he took that skate to the face?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was first off, excuse me. When the towel was placed over his eye to stop the bleeding.
Yep.
And they pulled and the camera was zoomed in and they pulled the towel away and the blood on the towel was the slit from the eye opening. And I'm like, oh my God, is he bleeding out the eye? Did it get him in the eye? Yeah. I was like, Jesus. And apparently not. It was just below or just above or something.
I think it was like literally like right below, like literally on the eyelid.
I was like, Jesus.
Which is scary as hell.
Yes. God, I can't. So yeah, yes, I was scared because when I saw that towel pulled away, I'm like, ooh.
I was like, bad. No. I mean, I was like, no, don't let this be. But yeah, I mean, the fact he was able to skate off on his own, clearly he could see to skate off, and and then he came back out on the bench.
He did. Yeah.
Woo! Made me feel a lot better.
Me too. Lots of Perunovich talk with Torrey Krug and Nico Mikkola both going on the COVID list last Friday. Everyone wanted to bring up Perunovich. It's a very interesting conversation to have. And the Blues may have done it, but his contract structure won't fit under the current cap restraints because the NHL does not give cap relief to teams who have players on COVID protocol. So, which is beyond stupid to me. And so they called up Rosen instead, which to me, he has not been very good. So I'm sure Perunovich would have been better.
And I'm not saying he's been great. I'm just saying I think he's been okay for defensive call up.
Luke Korak asked Doug Armstrong about Perunovich and if he's close to moving up to the St. Louis Blues or if it's best to let him keep playing and putting up numbers in the AHL with the Thunderbirds. Now, and also he had another point tonight, so that gives him 17 points in 10 games, 2 goals, 15 assists. He has a point in every game he's played in. And Logan Brown had 2 assists tonight as well, giving him 8 points, 4 goals, 4 assists in 11 games. So that's an update on the Springfield Thunderbirds.
And I'll add on that real quick. Just a friend of the show, Steve Forney, a guy we had on who discussed the when the Thunderbirds first became the Blues AHL affiliate. He came on and was awesome and talked to us about Thunderbirds, the culture, and all that. But he says, in my opinion, keep him down here. He's got a confidence and a swagger that he'll need to ride, then get knocked down a peg, then recover from adversity. That's what the A is for. And by the A, he means the AHL. So, yeah, you want to see him, build that confidence and then come up into the NHL and feel like a stud, because he is going to get knocked down a peg. It's, oh, yeah, dude, you can't just skate through the neutral zone every fucking time you have the puck. You want to see him be able to bounce back from that quicker. And the more time he gets in the AHL, that's what you're going to see over time.
Armstrong.
Sorry, continue.
When Korak asked Armstrong about Perunovich, Armstrong said, I think he's getting certainly closer to getting up here. His point totals are off the charts, obviously, in the American League for rookie defensemen. But again, he's playing lots of minutes. He's touching every aspect of the team down there. I don't think he's going to, certainly not hurting his development by playing lots of minutes and playing games right now. He hasn't played a lot of hockey over the last couple of years, but if he continues like this, at some point, you just have to tip your hat and give him the opportunity. It's not going to be for a little while, but it's not something that we're saying, okay, we'll see where he is a year from now. So I think, I guess if he keeps playing the way he's playing, Armstrong says they'll eventually have to bring him up. But it is what it is. Cap issues caused him to stay down, I think. I would imagine he'd been brought up. He would have had to have been brought up.
Oh, you're in the
cap
family.
issues.
Sorry.
Oh, she's on camera?
Sorry. Yeah, she's on camera now.
Let's do that hockey.
Somebody mentioned in the YouTube chat that they
is there
look like
wine
they're
there?
wine drunk. Yeah, they're not wine drunk. They're beer drunk.
Yeah,
But
beer drunk.
yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, Kurt, go ahead and share your thoughts on Perunovich.
This reminds me of like if my 10-year-old were to come in and say and just make all kinds of goofy faces on camera just to see himself on camera. Doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, basically that's it. Yep. Now go ahead and continue with Perunovich.
No, that's the gist of it. I would say the Blues could shed salary and bring him up if they wanted to, but I totally get not wanting to shed salary, lose a player just for the sole purpose of bringing Perunovich up for 3 or 4 games or however long it is until Krug comes back or Mikla is available. So as much as he's dominating the NHL, the predominating thought is still to let him get more time in the NHL for more seasoning. So I'm cool with that. And we're winning still, even though I have issues with the way the team's playing right now. But it's not an issue right now. But it might be soon. Rapid fire tidbits from around the NHL. I can't hear you, Jeff. You're muted.
I know I'm supposed to be muted.
Okay. Oh, that's good call.
Yep.
Rapid fire tidbits from around the NHL. And this is the Lomberg and Antti Ranta incident. Last Saturday, Ryan Lomberg ejected after hammering Antti Ranta in the race for the puck. Lomberg for Florida collided with Carolina goalie Antti Ranta, and Ranta was given a major penalty and a game misconduct, and that was upheld upon review. So I don't know how many of you have seen this video, but I hate this call. And I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, Jeff. I don't think we talked about this yet. But Ranta comes out towards Lomberg. He comes out towards Lomberg. Lomberg's coming in the zone. Both are going for the puck. Both reach out for the puck. Both seem to get the puck about the same time. And Lomberg tries to stop and jump out of the way kind of Ranta, but he collides with Ranta and took a shoulder to the head, and Ranta had to lead the game. Don't know what the league experts expects Lundberg to do here, honestly, because he has nowhere to go. He's going for the puck, and Ranta makes a beeline for Lundberg, and I can't believe it was a major penalty. I mean, I understand if they felt Lundberg hit him on purpose. I get that completely, because goalies aren't fair game. You can't take runs at goalies. This wasn't a run at a goalie. This was going for a loose puck, and there, I don't know. I know what the rule says, but this is not in the spirit of the rule. This is not the way it's supposed to go. I don't think. Ranta puts himself in this position way out of the crease. I mean, comes out, not in the corner, not on the boards. He comes out to play it. And Lundberg might even got there first. And then Ranta may have been dead. But yeah, he couldn't finish the game. He had to be taken off. But it's the definition of a hockey play that has an unfortunate result. Hockey's a rough sport. Sometimes guys get hurt on clean plays, and there was nothing malicious or dirty
you know
about
what this. You say that. You know what reminds me of that was, I don't know if you remember. God, it was probably 10 years ago now, when Roman Polak had injured Marian Hossa. They were going in for a puck battle in front of the goal. I think it was Yaroslav Halak in net, and it was just an unfortunate. They both collided. And the way that Hossa went down, he crashed into the boards. I think it was his knee. And people were saying, oh, that's a dirty hit by Polak. Polak didn't even know he was there. It was just a hockey play. And people were calling for a 5-minute major. And people were calling for suspensions. And it was just, no, it's a hockey play. Unfortunately, that's what happens. People just get hurt when they're going for pucks, when they're going for the play. And that's what happened here. I like Ranta's aggressiveness. Yeah, coming for this puck. I prefer that in a goalie, but when you do that, there's a good chance you're gonna get nailed, and that's exactly what happened. And I even said this that I'm okay just because of the way the game is called now. I'm okay with a 2-minute charging penalty. Sure, okay, I don't like it in sense of he's going for a loose puck. But because of the way the game's played, sure, give him a 2-minute charging penalty. But give him a 5-minute major, which, by the way, is reviewable now. They review those calls now and say, well, let's make sure, was this a 5-minute major? And they still went with it. Come on. How do you not see that play as an official and say, that's coincidental contact? That happens with a defenseman and a forward, 2 defensemen, 2 forwards. It just happened to be a goalie, so they made it a 5-minute major.
The thing too is that the player, the skater, has to make an attempt to get out of the way. That's to otherwise it'd be goalie interference otherwise. And you could easily argue he tried to stop, but he just couldn't stop in time because Ranta came out. And I'm sure, I've had this situation where you're bearing down on the puck, you're focused on the puck, and all of a sudden, it comes out of your into your field of view, the goalie at the last second, and you're like, oh shit, and you poke the puck, and you try and stop, and you crash into him. I fail to see how that's Lundberg's fault. Someone needs to make a GIF, with Lundberg and Ranta, and after the collision saying Lundberg fucked him.
Yeah, I did see a couple people post like the Lundberg from
Office Space.
Office Space. Yeah, what did he say? Like that's I'm gonna need you to work over the weekend or something. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's kind of funny. I get it.
Yeah, but this call just doesn't make any sense to me. This does not have the common sense to not come into play here, which was weird.
Not at all.
Also, we discussed this game last week as one to look for. Remember this?
We did.
Game, because Carolina was claiming to be the best team in the NHL, right? And they didn't have the most points. So, okay, well, who they played so far? They haven't played a lot of tough teams yet. And then, Florida's on the roster. Florida's on the schedule. So that'd be a game to watch. And there it was. And Florida whooped them
Yeah, they did. They did.
5-2.
Well, and then they had a game against the Lightning right after that too, and that game went to overtime. And Carolina ended up winning, but I
They did win
mean,
that game,
the
yeah.
Lightning looked fucking good in that game. It wasn't for Anderson, I think they win that game.
Yep.
So no, and nothing against Carolina. It's just
No,
you make that
I
claim, you're the greatest team in the NHL. No, you're not.
you weren't even. Yeah, I mean, you weren't even first in your conference
Yeah, right.
in points. I mean, come on, that's a weird greatest
We're even
team.
first in your division because
they
they're in
said
the same
best team-
division.
No, Florida and Carolina are not. Carolina's
they're
a
not?
metro. Carolina's a metro.
Oh, was that last year they were in the same division?
I don't know. Use
Or
that
am I
as
just
an excuse.
completely making that up?
Let me see. Let's go back a year. Last year, yes, last year, same division.
Okay, there you go. That's what it was. That's what I meant. Last year they were
Sure.
in the same division.
Sure. Blue 3531. Is that a Blues 3531? Is that a new YouTube listener?
Might be.
How different does our blue line presence in the ozone look without Krug? Definitely seemed like a massive difference. Isn't it funny? I agree. Isn't it funny
100%.
that last year all the crap that Krug got, and rightfully so, he wasn't very good last year. Wasn't as good as he should have been. How noticeable it is that he's not out there now.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, how good he is.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I think he was one of the guys coming into the season that guys to watch, right? Because of his season last year. Like, is he going to be whipping boy? Is he going to? How's he going to? It's a big season for Krug because he signed that big contract. You got to play well, and he's having a good year. So yeah, I agree with you. Blues 3531. It is noticeably different without him.
Yes, it is.
And I have not seen it. Brian Roberts says, I don't know if you have seen this, Jeff. Have you guys seen the anti-Russian BS with Kostin complaining he doesn't hit enough and does nothing on the ice if he can't make hits? I guess just saying.
I have not seen that.
What's weird too is that back in the day, Russians and Europeans were always blamed as not hitting enough, and soft players, right? You hit them and they'll fold. That was back in the 90s when that happened. People were always talking about that. Now you got players like Ovechkin and Tarasenko to some degree, not afraid to hit people. And Kostin. So interesting. Maybe the 90s were full of shit.
Yeah. That's a good possibility.
Just a lot of the it was lazy Europeans, soft Europeans. They can't take a hit. Maybe for some of them, but
yeah,
I'm sure most of them can play. Anything else going on in the Facebook chat before we close it out?
Bob Burkowski agrees with us on the Lomberg hit. Says that call was crap. Yep. And I guess in terms of comment of the show, he says I bow to Kurt's experience. So
no, I am not eligible to win this prize. So
there's no
prize.
Is
nothing. The award. The prize is the label.
Yes.
For the show. That's the prize.
No, but other than that, that's it. I think we're ready to close up. God, I miss Bill.
Yeah, I know. He's like the glue. He's the buffer between us.
Yes, he is.
I almost said fluffer. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockinthatidlife.com for more information. That's rockinthatidlife.com and get 10% off by texting Dustin at 636-393-8745 and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. Jeff, and that special going on, $20 off the package you mentioned, right?
Yep.
Which
yep.
was
let me pull that back up again. Hang on. Actually, you know what? I can even throw it back up on the screen if you want. Let's do that. I'm going to do that real quick. Folks, hope you're enjoying the show.
We'll just charge him extra for his extra time here.
Yeah, right. Yep. Expect that, Dustin. Okay, here
Ken
we go.
Morris said Don Cherry used to make that claim against Europeans. Yes, he did. A lot.
So for the DNA this week, our DNA kit is 20% off. You still get $100 coupon towards nutrition, and you get a free bag of Strawberry Slim or a bag of New Energy Pina Colada. and it's a Black Friday deal, which they're already celebrating now. So again, that's $20 off ID Life DNA.
Those Black Friday deals get earlier and earlier every year.
They do.
And support is also brought to you by Center Ice Brewery, St. Louis's hockey-themed brewery. Visit centericebrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or to make a reservation in their tap room located at 3126 Olive Street in Midtown St. Louis. It's one of the best places to watch a Blues game. That's centericebrewery.com. Please drink responsibly. That'll wrap up episode 9 of season 10 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Jeff Ponder and the Missing in Action Bill Day, I am Kurt Price. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to #1. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight again. They're rough and tough and got the stuff to win. They'll always get one more, no matter what the score.